This is Josh's meat slop, good for meal prep. You start with an onion, cut that up, then a couple of cloves of garlic, get them crushed nicely, like that. Do all three and you're laughing, whack them in the pot together. So get your pan or your big pot nice and hot, add some special olive oil. This is what my friend got me, right in there, it's very nice. Make sure your pan's nice and hot. And in comes your meat. In goes that. Make sure you get the paper off and don't burn yourself like that. Let that cook round, give it a little stir in your spinny pot. Try and do it with one hand, you just have to bear with us. Make sure it's nice and brown like that. Still a bit of red, but it's cooking nicely, you know what's going on there, so that's alright. So take your beef out. It didn't sort of crust and fond as much as I like it to, but you still got some decent meat juices in there and some little meaty bits. Back on the heat, and this is where you get your spices in. So we've got some chili flakes there, and something else chili. I don't know what that was, some other sort of type of chili. But get your onions and your garlic back in the pan. There you go, so they're going to be cooking that nice little meat juice. Getting some meaty onions and whatnot. So now try and undo the pot with one hand. There you go. Whack in some chilies, make it nice and hot. There you go, that's lovely. A bit more than I thought I'd put in, but I know chili's not the most accurate of sciences, so that's alright. And here comes the second chili. There you go, some more flakes. Let them cook up. So this is a bit nice cheap Sainsbury's whiskey. A few, not more than a few glugs of that. Get that in there. So his onions are now going to be cooking in the whiskey, which is nice, back on the heat. And this is where the fumes start coming out. So it starts cooking like immediately. And you want to be careful with these fumes because you have to take a step back actually, because they go right up your nostrils, and before you know it, you're on your back. So be careful. You see, look, they just come at you. Yeah, not fantastic. Step back, just take a breath of air. However, they do make the onions taste good, so it's worth the risk. It's worth the health risk. In go your tomatoes, can of tomatoes. Nothing crazy, just as the tomatoes, chopped tomatoes. Give that a little slop around. Doesn't look amazingly appetising, but it does get very slightly better. Yep, let that do that for a minute. What's next? Beef. Put your beef back in. There you go. Let that cook around and finish. This way you didn't cook it fully at the start, you've got to let it cook a bit more. Don't want to overcook. So it'll come out looking like that. Fantastic. Here comes some chicken stock, about a cupful there. Whack that in. And there comes the fun bit. So you've got some Asda new potatoes. I pushed the boat out, spent a bit of extra money. Got the Heinz Creation Mexican beans. As the meatballs. Now we've got one drained and one not. So you want that gravy in there. So slop all that in. Yeah, careful in fumes. Slop all that in. Don't worry about the rice, just get it all cooking through. And set the camera down while you try and open that packet of rice. Now we're going to add rice because you can't make it much worse. So in that goes. Break up the clumps. Yeah, looking good. Looking real appetising. But once it's all stirred around, not too bad. Not awful. So get your pot, put a lid on it, sort of a jar, and whack it in the oven about an hour and a half until nicely burnt. And you have something like that. Here it is, the day after cooking in my little meal prep tub. Yeah, got a little bit burnt, but that's alright, because chili is not an exact science, and it's a little bit drier than how I'd like it. But again, I don't know, it's more about the nutrients and the macros, micros, and the little pixies that jump around in it. It's not so much about, you know, what it looks like and to an extent what it tastes like, but I mean, taste wise, it's very meaty, which is nice. and appreciated. These little cheap, oh god, these cheap meatballs don't taste all that, but there is exactly that cheap meat. Oh. There's nothing on better than cheap protein. So, the flavours, looking at it from purely, if I got service in a restaurant, it would go back at an alarming pace. It tastes, it tastes really, I don't say bad. It doesn't taste bad, but it's not great either. It tastes as it looks, I think is the fairest way to say it. It tastes exactly what it looks like. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you might have seen already as we go along, the price of it and the nutrients up here at some point. I don't know yet because I've not actually done the numbers, but I'm assuming the protein 4 pounds ratio isn't bad. It's going to turn out to be really expensive and not that nutritious, and I'll look like a bit of an idiot, but I'm confident. I have faith in this chili, and so should you. So go and make it and see how it works out for you.